Hello and welcome back to One Way Designs 238. If this is your first time here, I'd like to say welcome. I do hope that you will consider sticking around by subscribing. And if you are a returning subscriber, I'd like to say thank you so much. You know that I certainly love and appreciate you. So jumping right into today's project, I have decided today to take a step back from the holiday decor just to get a nice breath of fresh air. My mom happens to love the farmhouse feel, so I've decided to create this really cute piece of farmhouse decor for her to put into her home. So what I've started off with are three of these pieces of wood from the Dollar Tree, and I have sanded down all of the edges to make sure that everything is nice and smooth, because y'all, I ain't got time for no splinters, not in my hands. So what I'm going to do now that everything is nice and smooth is I'm going to go ahead and bring in this Faux Stain, which is acrylic paint mixed with water. I just simply mixed a brown with a touch of black with the water again. And the purpose for doing so is I am going to go ahead and actually bring in a layer of antiquing wax, and this is going to give us a really nice rich color, as you're about to see in just a moment. But while I am putting down this foundation of this faux stain, I am making sure that I am covering all of my sides and my edges. So while this is still wet, it is imperative that this is still wet. I am going to go ahead and bring in my antiquing wax. And with the antiquing wax, I am going to be sure to rub this into the grain of the wood. I'm just using the paper towel. You can use a brush, piece of fabric, baby wipe, whatever you would choose to do. But again, the key is to rub this antique wax into the grain of the wood so that the grain of the wood is really put on display. That's what's really going to bring out the beauty of the wood. So as you can see, my two colors that I have used, the faux stain and my antiquing wax, they have both made for a really nice, beautiful, rich color. So once I have done this, again, making sure to get all of my sides, I'm going to go ahead and do this to my other two remaining pieces of wood. So once these are dry, I'm now going to go ahead and bring in my Adirondack white chalk paint by Folk Art. And I am going to distress this. I'm not a heavy distresser, but if you really like it truly distressed, go as heavy-handed as you would like. Now, while I am distressing these pieces, I am focusing totally on the edges, the corners, and the sides. And the reason for doing so is that while I was doing this, I could tell that it was forming like its own kind of border, so to speak. If you don't want to use white, you can also use gray. You can use whatever color you would like. And if you don't like this particular form of distressing, you could always use the crackle method as well. Now, me personally, I don't like to go, like I said, heavy-handed with the distressing, because sometimes when it's too heavily distressed, in my opinion, it just really covers up the beauty again of that wood. And I'm doing this to all three pieces of the wood. Now look at that natural border coming out. Very nice. So once I'm done distressing these, I'm now going to move on to painting my letters. Now these letters, or words that is, excuse me, these do come from the Dollar Tree. However, I did remove these from these pieces of, I guess you can say, decor by the Crafter Square set. Well, in the Crafter Square section, all I did was simply using light force, just simply lightly pried the word away from its backing. And when I did this, of course, there's a tea light candle on the inside. So, hey, you get your word and you also get a battery operated tea light candle. 2 items for the price of 1. So once I have my words removed, now I'm going to go ahead and make these stationary. What do I mean by stationary? Anytime you're trying to paint something that's lightweight, it just like it moves all over your table. So what I'm doing is taking some masking tape or painter's tape, and I'm just going to go ahead and take a nice bit off of the roll, fold it on itself, place it on my work surface. Then I can place my words on top of the tape, and the running game is over, you guys. So once my words have been placed on top of the masking tape, now it is time to paint. At first, I was going to go ahead and paint these with just, it's called silver lining chalk paint, but then I decided that was a little bit too light for me. I wanted something just a touch darker. So I wound up taking some of the silver lining paint and mixing it in with just a regular black chalk paint. Now, once I mixed my gray and my black paints together, I noticed that there was a bit of swirling going on. So I took that and used it to my advantage. I went ahead and let some of those streaks be seen and displayed in my words, because then it looks like I took the time out to distress these, and I did not do that. Because as you can see, it's got some of the ombre effect going on. But again, when the streaks appear, it really gives a nice touch to those words. So now that all three words I'm gonna paint all three words and let those dry. I'm going to bring in these two pieces of wood. Let me tell you guys, I got this from Lowe's absolutely free. These are the pieces of wood that they have wedged between the larger pieces that they are intending to sell. So when you go into Lowe's and you look around for these, they will give these to you absolutely free. If you don't have these, you can also use the 5-gallon paint stirrer sticks, or you can simply use another piece that you have actually purchased from Lowe's and had them cut down. So now I am going to go ahead and put my planks on top, my painted planks that is, on top of my two railings. And to evenly space these out, I'm just going to use some of these pieces from the Tumbling Tower games. I learned this particular method and technique from Jenny over at Lovely Moments Creating. I'm also going to bring in my ruler on the side to make sure that everything is straight, everything is aligned up, make sure that everything is evenly spaced out. And once everything is evenly spaced out, I'm just going to go ahead and simply attach these to the rails. Now, if you wanted to paint these to match, you could do so. Me personally, I didn't want to do that because I wanted it to kind of come together. It would have been too matchy-matchy, but that's just my personal opinion. So to attach these, I am using a foundation, again, of hot glue and a very strong adhesive. I am going to do this to all three pieces, and then I'll come back and I'm going to go ahead and attach my words. Now, you guys, the reason for going through so much trouble of making everything even, spaced out, nice and straight, is because I want this to look so totally high end. I want this to look like a conversation piece for when my mom has company. You know, it's got to look really nice and very high end. That's how you get things to look high end and nice. Take the extra step and pay attention to details. So now I am making sure that my words are centered exactly where they need to be, and I'm going to use the same foundation of the two glues that I have just used. I really wish I could have had these words mounted up off of the plaques so they wouldn't be like flush against it, because I don't like that. Of course, you know that if you've been watching me for a while. But I couldn't do that, so I had to be satisfied with them laying flush against it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with my other two words, and I will set these aside, and I have let these dry overnight. So now, just to decorate these and to bring that classic farmhouse feel to them, I am taking a few pieces of this eucalyptus garland that I have. I just take a few clippings off of it, and I'm just simply going to glue two pieces at the bottom of each word. If you wanted to, you could always take some greenery and form your greeneries at the corners, the middle, wherever you would like. Again, as I always say, take this, it's just an idea. Take it and make it customized to your decor and your taste and like. So now once this has dried, I'm going to bring in that farmhouse ribbon that I was showing you, and I'm just going to make what I have heard called cutesy bows. Very simple bows. When I was looking at this farmhouse ribbon at first, it looked like the stripes were black, but they're not. They're just a really nice dark beige, and I feel like this is really going to tie everything together. So once I have made these really cutesy little bows, I'm simply just going to clean up the ends by giving them the angled tails, and then I will just glue these right in between my 2 pieces of eucalyptus greenery. And once I have done the first one, I'm just going to go ahead and continue by doing the other 2 as well. So now that this is complete, you can stop here or you can go a little further. I'm just going to simply take this bead garland that I have made along with that little medallion with the greenery wreath on it that I also made. And I am just showing you how I want to style. This is just an idea of how it can be styled. So here is my classic farmhouse piece of art. I really love how this turned out. The gray, I absolutely love it because I promise you the camera does not do this piece any justice. You can see that beautiful distressing on our planks. It helps bring out that nice rich wood color that we used with the 2 different kinds of stains and the antiquing wax. I absolutely love how this turned out. I'm sure that she will love it and it'll be a great conversation piece in her home. Well, as always, I hope that you have enjoyed what I have presented for you today. And as always, my prayer for you is that you continue to stay healthy, you continue to stay blessed. Until the next time, be blessed richly. In Jesus' name, bye-bye.